Hello, I am Aaron, and this is Sarah, and welcome to Trekkie Tuesdays. We're doing a video again for the first time in a while because it seemed appropriate for the very video-themed episode, The Menagerie, Parts 1 and 2, which is actually a framing device for re-airing the pilot episode, which was never actually aired, called The Cage. So it's that episode, except Kirk and Spock and an admiral are watching it on TV. So this happens because, as you may recall, that episode involved aliens with the ability to make you think that you were experiencing anything they wanted to make you think, and also to read your mind. And Captain Pike was going to, they had kidnapped Captain Pike and wanted to force him to breed a new race of human slaves who would not be addicted to watching TV all day and would make technology for them, and keep their civilization running. But then they discovered that Pike was far too indomitable to ever allow that to happen, so they let him go. But now Pike has been conveniently left completely paralyzed. Conveniently because it lets them avoid having to actually get back the actor who, I don't know, they fired him, he refused to sign on for the full series, something like that. So they just have somebody who can only communicate via a series of beeps, which technology marches on about that one. We're already better than that. So Spock takes it upon himself to take Captain Pike back to the cage so that he can experience all of this again. And in order to explain to Kirk what's going on, he has the gamekeepers broadcast their the high-def video, and everybody's very impressed by how high-def the video is. 60s video.
Yeah, I don't really understand that point. Like, how can you... Like, they talk about this in the actual show, but they're like, who is filming this right now? Like, how did you get this recording with music and, like, different angles and different points of view? Like, it's not just following one person who happened to have, like, a video on them or something, but just everybody, and it's all cut together so well. This is never explained. Never. Go on.
Of the original events where Pike first discovered this. And so it ends with Pike agreeing to go back to live in the cage where he can experience not being paralyzed, and presumably lives happily ever after with his love interest, ish, from the love interest that the gatekeepers were trying to inflict on him from the original episode.
But do we know she's alive? Yeah.
Is that the end? Because I kept worrying that what if, in fact, this is the gatekeepers just messing with everybody, and Pike may or may not actually be paralyzed and has not consented to the whole thing. And in fact, when he gives the 2 beats for yes, he's actually getting 1 beat for no, but they've changed it in Kirk's mind, and Pike is protesting furiously as he's beamed down back to the captors, and they're all just playing an elaborate game of cat and mouse. But that's probably overly dark for Star Trek.
But see, oh no, I messed it up. Well, sorry, Aaron, but I don't think that it is that dark, because I think that's, like, in keeping with the original Star Trek. Like, the pilot that they're showing is very dark, and I think it doesn't really make any sense. Like, I definitely think there's no way to tell what is real and what's not real, and they're just pretending like, oh, well, this is clearly real because, what? We have no proof. There's no Spock being like, Captain, this is illogical. how do we know any of this is real? We don't. Alright, now I have to try to find it.
Spock's loyalty, and Spock is risking a great deal because, for reasons that are never really explained, the Federation has kept the death penalty just for this one crime of visiting this one planet that has decided to peacefully coexist with the Federation, so there's really no reason why they should have this rule. But they do, and it's there to create drama where Spock is being court-martialed and has to hijack the Enterprise, and Kirk is forced to serve on a tribunal to court-martial and sentence his own first officer to death.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear that this doesn't really make any sense, but it's a good way to have them say, but wait, let me tell you the rest of the story, and then, be able to zoom back out and back into the story and jump in and out of the story. I mean, that just seems like the only reason that's there is to have this court system so that we have a good excuse to tell the story. I agree.
Except it turns out that that's all an illusion itself. And the Admiral was never actually real, and was all just in Kirk's head to cause him to go along with things instead of breaking out of the illusion. I know you were surprised by that. It was too. The main weirdness, really, for me, was that they then moved this unaired pilot into continuity with the rest of Star Trek by doing this, and they didn't. I knew this episode existed, but I was expecting them to edit out the parts that don't make sense, like Majel Barrett is in the unaired pilot, but playing a different role from any of the roles she plays in the new version. There's even this unintentionally ironic foreshadowing moment where she gets called a computer, and one of the roles that she plays in the new version is the voice of the computer. But there's no comment on the fact that there was a female number one in this version of Starfleet, which is not called Starfleet, the United Earth ship or something, and she looks exactly like a slightly younger version of Nurse Chapel, and the captain is considering retiring to live a life of trading green animal women slaves, which they actually then comment on and try to explain. They double down.
Yeah, why? Why couldn't they have just cut that whole scene out? I don't really think it needs to be there. It was long enough as it is. They're putting a show inside a show, so it's too long. And what is the purpose of the green women animal slaves? Why? I don't understand. It's bad enough the first time, but then to actually acknowledge how weird that is, it's just, no.
What?
I agree, Aaron.
Expecting them to gloss over that, they gloss over all the technobabble that's incompatible with current technobabble. But they at least make it set 11 years ago, so fashions changed, and terminology
eyebrows are
the name of the government
way higher.
has changed, I guess. So, all in all, it's a fairly clever way of repurposing that old footage that would have gone to waste otherwise, and that, fairly cool, classic sci-fi style story. And I think it's especially clever because it lets them reuse, take to another level, the conceit about having us watch people watch the events of the episode and turning us into the voyeurs, the audience. But this time without the anti-audience moral, I guess, because it turns out that now Captain Pike gets to live forever in happiness because of this watching, just like Star Trek will survive forever in reruns. So it's the same postmodern gag, but with the opposite moral, which may be more sensible to be nice to your audience who's keeping you alive.
Yeah. That was like the one fun thing about this episode is that the pilot was really ridiculous and having like a screen and a screen and a screen and a screen, and then they did it again with another screen and then a story within the screen and a screen and a screen and screen. Okay, that's just the fun part of it.
So, right, that's the event. That's the events of the Menagerie. Sarah. Wait. My God. Sarah was never actually here.
But I am here. Hi, Aaron. So, Aaron, this was fun. Some part of me wonders if you were ever really here, or if I'm even really here, or if this is all just an illusion in your mind. You'll never know. Maybe if you beep once for yes and 2 for no, we will have clarity. Who knows? Goodbye.